this video I'm just going to give you a little bit of an idea of what I'm doing. So I've got this 2 meter by 1.5 meter dual-sided projection screen I made a number of years ago. Actually, it sat down the garage in Auckland. It's actually dual-sided, so you project on one side but you can see an image on both. And what I'm going to do is mount it outside for watching movies. And what it does mean is that I can be on one side watching it, and on the other side, from the roadside coming up the valley, you'll be able to see it as well. And probably won't be its final position, but that's why I'll use it temporarily and just stay outside. So I've got an idea how to mount it and hang it. So now I've got to get it out of here through this through the room that I'm using as a storeroom. Get it out, take it outside, lay it out, figure out how I will mount it and hang it from an overhead beam, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that a little bit later. Okay, I've now got it out into the doorway. It's actually quite awkward and bulky, so what I'm going to do to ensure I can protect the surface is tape up the sheets of cardboard I'd have had it wrapped up in, and then we'll endeavour to move it outside. So far so good, so I think we should be able to get it outside okay. So that's how big it's going to be. So I should be able to get it outside okay. So we've just now got to go through the doorway through there by the car. Okay, so I think that's going to work out okay. But what I think I should really do first is organise the mounting before I take it outside. Because if it rains, this box is just going to get completely ruined, and I have a use for that cardboard, and so I don't want to get it destroyed and wet. So I'll show you where I'm going to hang it. So I found these two horse jumping rails in the long grass up by the front gate on the northern boundary. So I only need to use one of them, but I might use two, but I only need to use one because what I'll use it as an upright for the left hand side. So that'll mean a hole dug around about here where my boot is, and then I'll have a top rail that'll come across, and I'm going to mount it onto this power pole. So I'm going to have to make a bracket of sorts that I can bolt through. Might have to replace these bolts for longer ones, or either that, just nail some timber up screw some timber up onto this existing face here, and then attach a rail across it, avoiding the cable ducting, and then mount it there. So of course if the wind blows through here, it'll blow in the breeze, but then again I'm not going to be outside if it's all windy and unpleasant watching a movie. And because it's a polycarbonate sheet, or is it acrylic? I can't remember what I used for that. It was so long ago now. But it's a very special projection film designed for being able to display an image on both sides. However, if you understand optics, you will understand one side will be reversed. And that's not a problem. And then I would just set up a couch, drag one of these couches over, or one of the ones up the top, and set that up, add a bit of a sound system, and then I will have a stunning, well, not stunning, but outdoor cinema area that I can use. So I should get on to now digging a hole by hand, and I'm thinking just going to have to do some measurements, how high or how deep the hole will need to be, and then how high the screen will be off the ground and so forth. So I've got a number of projectors I can use. I'm sport for choice, and so a projector will probably need to sit around about here, just give you an idea of where that is, and project onto the screen. So I started digging the hole. Need to dig it about 600 mils deep for this post, and it will bury it to about where my foot is. And I think that should be enough, and if I need to I can always put a brace or something on it, yeah, that should be sufficient. So I'm just going to continue now, making the hole a lot deeper, then put the post in and then ram the earth down. So I think I've dug deep enough. I just need to measure it. But what I've come up against is this. It's very solid, and I thought, is that a pipe of an ancient building that was here? Have I just discovered the remnants of a lost civilization? Or have I simply just struck the sandstone? I suspect it's the sandstone, which you can just see the yellow down there. It's a little bit chalky in here, so that's all loose just into the side. And if I now bring up my tape measure, and let's measure. Oh, it's about as deep as I will go, which is just on 550, which I think is about actually right, what I measured. So that's cool. So now I'm going to drop the post in and just see how it sits. Make sure it's not too far apart from the post, and I'm going to use the lighter coloured 4x2 piece of timber here. And what I'm going to use is, I dug these out of my storage in Auckland. These are building frames. So what I'll do, I'll nail that onto there, like so, and that will just drop straight into it. And I'll make a bracket up on this one here. And in my calculation, we should just be above that box. Okay, bracket is screwed on. So I just have to make sure that this face here is facing directly opposite the lamppost, so that when I put this beam up, it will be aligned properly. So now I'm just ramming the dirt back in to hold it up and upright, nice and straight, using a timber that I'd decided to use as a stake. So not using this end because it's pointed, but the flat end and this one as well. So the screen I'm going to put up here is not designed for daytime use, unless you have an extremely powerful projector, and it's predominantly for nighttime use. So we'll see how we get on. So I'm just gauging across from that top of the pole to there, and we are going to be about 3 inches, I reckon, above the top of that box. So that'll be okay. So this support is upright. This lamppost is actually leaning a little bit, so it's, if I come around here you'll see what I mean. So you can probably afford to build it out a little bit at the top, so the screen is sort of a little bit more parallel to, say, this viewing position up here, which will be viewed from about up here, something like this here. I don't know what I'll do with this here. Obviously it's a support for the lamppost, so won't be shifting that, but might be able to dress it up or something. And obviously the barbecue will need to be shifted out of the way, maybe flip it around to the other side. So anyway, I'm going to keep going and get this in position. Okay, I can see that should really utilize the 50mm on the left hand side, and it will just raise it a little bit higher. So I might unscrew that bracket, lift it up, and remount that timber. And I can probably almost just put some packing on the right hand side and go straight into the piece of timber that's bolted up the lamppost. And yeah, so looking good. Probably need to go and get a ladder. Okay, that's looking a lot better. I've screwed it in at a higher height, and that's vertical there. I see a little bit shy on that side, and I just wonder whether I actually give this a push, whether that will be enough just to give me a little bit more on there. Yeah, so that'll be fine. So now I just need to go and find a bit of timber, pack it out away from the pipe, and then screw it in. So I found this piece of timber in the wood pile, which will be perfect. It's a little bit too long to actually fit in there beneath the bolt and the cabinet, so I probably need to cut it off around about here. And actually I could even do it in half and then just layer it up there, and it'll just bring it forward a little bit to counter for the fact that the lamppost is leaning on a bit of a right hand angle, probably around about 10 degrees or something, I suppose, maybe 5 degrees. But when it's quite tall, you can see it leans quite a bit. However, seeing this lamppost here, I was thinking earlier today how I could make a massive outdoor projection screen, which is one of my goals. It'll be the largest outdoor projection screen in New Zealand. And my idea is, you can see this bank sloping down here right in the left hand side of that timber pile, and plastic down there. Cows are in the distance. So on this side here, it'd make an ideal sort of viewing platform, and right slap bang in the middle of the picture, you can see now, you can see the little gully there, and you might be able to make out a fence line, concrete post fence. You can see the posts over there. Is to actually mount two power poles, similar to that one, right slap bang in the middle of the picture, maybe, I don't know, 10 meters apart, maybe 15 meters, and make a massive outdoor projection screen. Mount some a beam at the top that'll go across, and then put some hoists on it, so then I can hoist the screen up and lower it when not in use or stormy weather. And this here will be the viewing platform. I'm planning on building a dwelling, office, admin area here, probably right slap bang in the middle of the picture area will be a flat outdoor area, and so the bank, and from that area there, will be perfect for viewing outdoor movies here. And I think that could become quite a focal point for people gathering and coming to visit and experiencing some of the magic here at Abilene. Okay, so beamers is secured. The backing plates are also secured into this piece of timber that's bolted onto the lamppost. We're clear of the box, so there's no pressure on this plastic meter box. And we're secure there. The earth's been rammed in there, so the only thing I need to do now is look at hanging the screen, which will fill a good portion of everything you see there. So it'll be 1.5 meters high screen, so a little bit off the ground and a little bit off the top hanging. So I just have to go and see what brackets and materials and bits and pieces I've got now to hang the screen. Good thing about this screen, I'll be able to leave it outside, and I think the adhesive nature is okay for that. And it's actually water bonded on. It's an adhesive, but you bond it onto the backing and then squeeze all the water out. And if you try and take it off, you'll rip the film and destroy it. However, I do recall, I think, a bubble, a large air bubble had appeared. So we'll look into that and sort that out in due course. And of course, the barbecue will now need to be moved out of the way before I can hang the screen up. Okay, so now I've used this plumb bob, which enables me to transfer the end of the tape measure up to this point. So this is where I need to note where the right hand side of the screen will be, where that staple nail is. And I need to do the same on the other side, and then we will know where the width of the screen will be on the beam. So I just went searching for some fittings. So I was given a whole lot of old fittings like this here, so I'll straighten this out and it'll be perfect, and this one's okay. What I'm going to do is, because I have to have the orientation right, because the screen's going to hang through the bottom locking bolt, and so I need to screw that in place under. I just see I pressed the button trying to hold too many things at once. So let me turn it around that way so you can see. So I'm going to hang it like this here. So the bolt here is front to back, and will go underneath. So I'll need to use some long screws with washers, and need to make sure that the position I bolt these matches the hole positions in the top of the screen. So I'm going to probably bring the screen out now, measure it up, and put it in place. Now it's just me here, and it's a big sheet, so I'm going to probably have to do it in a few stages. Sort of tie it up into position, then put one end through and then the other. I don't know if I need to put a middle shackle. I've got 3, but in theory it should hang vertically pretty good. It won't bow because it's hanging vertical, but we'll just see. And if I need to, I can actually add a 3rd mounting point just to hold it steady. So if it's windy, I can actually just leave it out because it'll just blow. It'll just blow in the wind, and so it won't be resisting the wind, so that's all okay. And so the sun is now starting to set. You can see the sunset happening over there, and so we're on target. So I need to keep moving and to get this up before it's too dark, because if it stays nice like that, I'm thinking I might have an outdoor movie tonight. Right, so I've got the sheet out this far without damaging the edge, and now I'm just going to bring it over to here. And now I'll take it off, take the cardboard off, and I can mark up and drill the holes. So I've now marked up 3 hanging points, so it will help to just keep it flat as it hangs vertically. So I'm now going to drill up the holes. And now we're just going to drill the last hole. So I've put a pilot hole through first and then a larger one. Drill through the polycarbonate quite easily because polycarbonate's rather soft but extremely strong. So it's going to be impossible for this screen to crack at all. So that's a good thing, I reckon. So now what I've got to do is transfer the holes I've drilled. Where's my finger? There, that hole there. There's one in the middle and one 300 mils in from that side there. So I've got to transfer those mounting points onto the beam up here. And in theory, everything should work out pretty spot on. I might do the middle one last, once it's actually hanging. And I should be able to manage that. I just want to tell you about this tool that I purchased recently. I was in one of the big stores and they had this in the $10 bin and I thought, perfect. This is exactly what I could use. And the way you use it is, it's a portable folding vise. So you basically get whatever you want to fold it and you can just fold it in here. Like so. So having the big wide teeth is brilliant. So I knew I would have a need for such a tool rather than trying to put that in the vise and then using a hammer to whack it. So anyway, you might find one of those tools handy one day. I did. $10. Can't go wrong with that. So far so good. I've got some bits of rope there to help hold it up because there's no way I can hold that by myself and get the holes up. So I'm just going to try pulling the cardboard out of the way, which is on the ground, and then I'm going to use the table that's behind it, and that should probably give me about the right height, I think, to maybe put the screen up and hang it from the beam. Alright, some time has passed. I've got one shackle up and I can hear either a cat or a possum over in the, oh, they just saw it there. You wouldn't have seen it. Anyway, so I've got one end shackled up. I can now do the other end. And it's not that easy actually, getting it up into this position. The ropes broke a few times because they're pretty old ropes, and the tabletop is very slidey. Slidey, is that a word? Very smooth, and so the edge of the polycarbonate sheet just moves on it. But anyway, I've been able to do it, get it up there safely without sort of risking falling off the ladder and that sort of thing. So I'm now just going to do the next part. Right, so I've got it hanging on the two shackles. The measurements are all correct. Haven't put in the middle one. We'll see if I need that. It's easy just to bow it out and screw up the brackets in there. So we'll just leave those off. I'll now remove the table and the rope and the cellophane, and we're pretty much done. In the meantime, I've chased an opossum that was, you know, you still can't see, off the building. It was trying to climb up, and then it went inside the little outhouse here, and then I lost it, so I don't know where it's gone. Anyway, so I'm pretty pleased with the outcome so far. So the screen is all hanging, looks pretty safe and sound, so I'm happy about that. And I'll just leave that up here, and might just go and get a projector now and project onto the screen and give it the first workover. Very tempted to light up the barbecue again tonight and just cooked some chips and maybe some chicken. As you can see, nightfall's now come. Stars are starting to come out, which you might see up above. Yeah, so quite happy with this afternoon's little project. Just want to show you the setup I got organised today. So this afternoon, so the main part really was to get this dual-sided projection screen installed, which I built, and it had been stored in Mum and Dad's garage for a number of years actually, because I had no space for it in my warehouse and didn't want to get it damaged. So just to give you an idea what I mean by dual-sided, so you can see here, you get an image on both sides. So it's actually, the material I've used is actually designed for shop windows, so you could project onto a shop window from inside and advertise and that, but obviously many more applications. So in this application here, it's an outdoor projection screen. You could have an audience on both sides, and I managed to get it all mounted up by myself today, this afternoon. I was sort of rushing to beat darkness coming, which I did, and it's all nice and steady. So I've attached it to the power pole on this side, and I put a horse jumping rail I found up by the gate on the side, and found a bracket in my storage unit back in Auckland. I knew I'd need those somewhere sometime, so yeah, so that's all very good. Pulled out one of the projectors and one of the PA speakers. I didn't do a fire tonight, which is just over there by the column of lights. So I've just cooked up the rest of the pancake mix I made at lunchtime, and had that, and just now made a coffee. And the goats, yeah, there's Flopsy, you can't see him, but he's straight in the middle of the picture, and Bonkers is over there, so they're watching the concert too. What on earth is this going on here, they're thinking. So anyone who drives up the road, main road, that borders one side of my property, will actually see this, and even though it's a small screen, they'll still be able to quite clearly see it, and they'll be thinking, what on earth is going on here? We've never seen anything like this happening at this property before. So because no one's been here for the last number of years, so I'm sure it'll begin to be the talk of the district as to what's going on. So the concert's just finishing here now, so I'm going to find something else to watch and wrap up. I've got a blanket here. It's a little bit cool, a lot of mildew about, so but that's okay. And no one around to tell me to turn the sound down. Of course, it's not that loud, and all the houses, farms that are near me are quite some distance away, so that's just what I wanted to show you. And I'm going to paint the beam and the post up there. I've got white paint, green paint. I have to decide what to use. So I'm going to watch this concert now at Sloane Castle, so should be quite nice. And of course an outdoor setting is just perfect for an outdoor castle concert. And so now I must have my coffee waiting for me here. So if you ever come to visit the Republic of Abilene, oh, and Hayley, we've got Hayley. Now Hayley's a Christchurch, New Zealand singer. And so, yeah, so if you ever come to visit the Republic of Abilene and you're going to be here for the evening, you'll be experiencing something of this nature as well. Might be a little bit more organised in terms of the PA system and so forth, and the seating, but part of the experience that I'll be developing here.